Was there a similar effort within the FBI as you saw after January 6th, which by your description is a clear full court press here to get everyone involved and everyone even secondarily involved? Did you see anything similar when all these riots were breaking out with the Antifa and these BLM groups?
So I wasn't in an investigative role. I was in a surveillance role at that time. And we were with the uniform division of Secret Service the day after they burned St. George's Church. I was there when there were stacks of bricks on the ground that were lined up and they were covered in granola bars, which was bizarre. Friends of mine had been getting in fights all night long. They had put different SWAT teams on the line, but federal SWAT teams are not designed for crowd control. They don't have that training. They don't have that equipment. They brought in Bureau of Prisons to try to hold these lines. But did we investigate those people? Did we, haul them down by the dozens and throw them into the DC jail system? Absolutely not.
But that's what happened in the January 6th.
Of course, yeah. I mean, the contrast was obvious. I actually did a 2-week stint where I was out in Portland, and
the courthouse.
Well, we were on. They'd moved on from the courthouse by that time, so they were somewhere in the middle of the 100 days, but it was towards the tail end of it. And I saw like street battles in parks between Portland Police Bureau and these goons that were just running around. They looked like they were like LARPing knights. I just was cracking up about it. Like, it was one of the funniest things. If it wasn't so sad and so bizarre that it was going on, it was hilarious to watch. Like, I hear guys yell retreat at the top of their lungs and they all run off into a neighborhood. Right. And you look and you're like, what in the world? We got night vision, they're watching what's going on.
They've seen too many movies.
They have, and then they come running back in with their shields and they try to hit the police. You got to give the Portland Police Bureau credit. The guys they put on the line were monsters. They were absolutely just jacked studs. And so you just watch them, just like 12 of them would just repeal, they would just break the phalanx of 60 of these goofballs coming running up in cartoon costumes.
When you're 120 pounds soaking wet and you've been eating Hot Pockets all day.
It takes three of you. It takes three of you to try to disrupt like a grown man that looks like he's going to do it.
I get
face
it.
planting them and stuff. We saw wild stuff, but we didn't have any intervention. And we had federal targets.
And there was no effort to go and kind of do surveillance on this network to see who was organizing where these bricks with the granola bars were coming from?
So there's two pieces to that are really troubling to me. Number one, I watched a federal target get wrapped up in a state arrest, got interviewed, and let go that night. Interviewed by us, not by my squad, but by agents in that field office. And it's like, how did we just let that happen? We're like, we know that there was a state charge. Could we ask them to hold them? Like, there was no appetite to do that, and we couldn't push it federal. And then the second piece of it is I sat in a car, and I'm pretty sure I got yelled at for this, but I sat in a car because I wanted to watch. Like, that was my job. Like, my job is to see what's going on there. So it's my second to last night there. I know if they burn the vehicle, that's to say they see the plates and they know what it is, and they put it out over the radio. It doesn't really matter for our operational work because I'm going to turn that car into the rental agency and some other poor sap's going to be driving it. Hopefully he doesn't get beat up and doesn't look anything like me. I had a pretty heavy beard at the time and I'm wearing a dark Carhartt hoodie, and I've got my body armor on, the whole deal. And I'm sitting in this vehicle, pickup truck, and I'm 5 miles away, 3 miles away or something from this rioty protest where they're burning things in the middle of the parking lot and they're screaming about something. Some guy who robbed a liquor store and then got shot because he pointed his gun at the cops, something like that. And I remember going like, well, that's what happens. It's a bad choice. So I get a heads up. Hey, there may be a security element moving to your position. And I get maybe a half dozen of these Antifa types. They're wearing tactical looking vests, but I don't think they had any body armor in it. They just looked good. It was cosplay, right? Yeah. They had a patch on there with a fist and this kind of deal. And, right. And it was a gal who was kind of tall. She looked like an 80s villain. She had bleach blonde hair, real short. She's wearing a black mini skirt with these
Quinn.
Yeah, she's dressed up in her part. She's got fishnets on and high boots. And she's there with a couple guys that look like they were beefier than the other guys. They look like normal, meat-eating type human beings. And they're surrounding this vehicle that I'm in. And I just thought, like, now what? Oops. Like, now I'm sitting here and they came out from behind the buildings. I saw them behind me. I can run and burn the fact that I was doing what I was doing, or I can sit there and eat beef jerky and just kind of talk to them for a little bit. So, they came up to the window, which I had rolled down just so I could kind of get some air in the car because we're not running the engine. You don't want to call attention to yourself. So I'm sitting there. It's like, what are you doing? I'm eating beef jerky. What are you doing? It's like, you look real sketchy. It's like, you look sketchy. Like, where'd you get those fishnets? Like, They still make those? Is Hot Topic still open? Right. Like, I'm just zinging her with it. And she's telling her buddies, they're trying to take their cameras and take pictures of me and kind of just block it. It's like, hey man, do you want me to drive off and take you with me? Or do you want to ride? Do you need to go somewhere? What's going on? And they outed themselves. One of the guys tells me, he ends up that he was, I saw you the other day. He's like, I saw you. Were you at the park on Sunday? It's like, dude, I don't even know what day it is today. Like, well, how would I know? And he goes, yeah, I was in the blue and white Yamaha. And I was like, no kidding. I never saw your face. Snap, got you. Okay, good. Now there's one more down. So I'm taking pictures of them every once in a while too. And we floated it all up. Had to write up a long brief because I was off duty theoretically. We're never really off duty, right? We're always on duty. But I was away from my squad, kind of sitting by myself. So I write it all up, nothing. It's like they came out, pretty overt threat. They heard that they were calling out my plates over their radio system. They were using FRS radios, which we were able to record. So we had all of their interactions. And that was I was probably the third or fourth agent that was outed during that three or 4 days, like where it was pretty tight. I had one of my guys drove off. We were told to bug out for a little bit. And he goes driving off and he was chased by, you can't make it up. He was chased by 5 people on bicycles. He was driving a Nissan Armada, He's an agent 25 years in, former Marine, capable, salty hair, salt and pepper, but very capable individual as far as that goes. He's getting followed by bicycles. And they're doing this bicycle convoy, and he's running red lights to just get away from them. They're running the red lights too, just following him, just chasing him off the X. And it's
but nothing happened.
But nothing happened. Yeah, there's no, hey, were you engaged in we could have rolled any of those people up and had a conversation when they were far away. It's like, what do you think you're doing?
That was more of a political decision than it was a law enforcement one. I mean,
and it was a free
tried to burn down that courthouse.
That's right.
And you have to remember, President Trump, I know a lot of Secret Service agents who were there that night, who've spoken to me specifically the night they tried to, get into the White House. Those guys got hurt. A lot of agents got hurt.
The guys I worked with that day were hurt.
Down to the bunker. And
the
media thought that was hilarious. That was a clip from the Dan Bongino show. You can watch the full show. We recommend you do on Rumble. Go to rumble.com/Bongino, please, and subscribe for free. We appreciate it.